Hello, welcome to another video by Help You Excel. This is going to be a short one just to show you how you can make a custom form to act as a progress bar in Microsoft Access. Before I start this, I have to give a shout out. The inspiration for this came from another video that I saw on YouTube, and I will link the original video in the description by way of credit for the idea. If you watch both videos, though, you'll see that I did modify it somewhat to work a little bit differently. So the basic setup of the form is pretty straightforward. This is a rectangle. There's that one, and then there's one that sits on top of it that's smaller. And all we're going to do is I've created a property that lets you pass in a percentage complete. So if you say 50%, then the width of this will grow to be 50% of the width of this box down behind. So that's the basic setup, pretty straightforward. When you pass it a percent complete, it also updates here. The caption of the form says, please wait. Of course, you can change that when you call it. So let's take a look at the code. The code is pretty straightforward. All right, go here. So all I did was I created a property, and you pass to it one value that's a single, and that's going to be your percentage complete. Okay, these two lines of code are just making sure you don't pass through an invalid number. So if it's greater than 1, set the value equal to 1. If it's less than 0, set it equal to 0. So any valid input is anything between 0 and 1. Nothing greater than 1, nothing less than 0. Okay, here we're going to update the caption. We're just going to we're going to round whatever they pass into us. We're going to round it to 2. We're going to format it as a percent and concatenate that to percent complete. Okay, I guess don't really need the round in here because by doing the format, it's going to do the same thing. And then this is where the progress bar is actually updated. So BX progress, that's the blue bar right here. It's going to become the new value, which again is percent complete. So let's say 50% times the width of the box total, which is the bigger box in the background. Okay, so you pass in 8%, then the width of this will become 8% of the underlying box. Okay, and then tell the form to repaint. If you don't do that, the user won't see the update. It'll be happening, but you won't see an update. And then just in case you're using any event-driven anything, if they're, say, do events, that way it'll go ahead and let events trigger if there need to be any events being triggered. So pretty straightforward, simple form, just a few lines of code. And then here's an example of how you can use it. Just instantiate a variable. That's the progress bar. I'm going to just use these as counters. So with my progress bar variable, I'm going to set the progress percent to 0 to start with. Make it visible. If you don't make it visible, the user won't see it. And for this, denom or denominator is 25, so I'm just going to loop through 25 times. Progress bar dot percent equals I divided by the denominator. So the first time through, 1 divided by 25, and then 2 divided by 25. So you're just getting a percent complete. And then I wrote a little custom function so that there's a little bit of pause in between, otherwise it would just zip through 25 in like no time at all. So I'm going to make it half a second so it runs just a little bit faster. So it'll loop through, updating the progress bar 25 times, waiting half a second in between, and then it'll uninstantiate the form, thus closing the form. So let's take a look at what this is going to look like. I'm going to hit F5. I've got in design mode. I gotta close this before I can instantiate F5. Okay, So there you go. Nice little progress bar. When it gets to 100%, it will just close. There you go. So you can, if you're looping through, you can do an update each time you iterate through the code, or if you have a long sequence of code, you could just manually, and you'd have to play with it, see what makes sense. Just say, okay, at this point in the code, we're roughly 25% done. At this point, we're roughly 40% done, or we're 75%, etc. So if you're doing a loop, you can do what I did. If you're not looping, but you got a long sequence of code, just do an update periodically throughout your code. Don't forget to set it to nothing when you're done, because this form is modal, which means that as long as this form is open, Access won't let you do anything else until this form closes. So do make sure that you remember to close the form and uninstantiate it. Otherwise, the user won't be able to do anything else. Okay, I hope this video is helpful to you. Like I said, I will post the link to the original video that gave me this idea by way of credit. And if you like this video, make sure you like it. If you want to see more like this, subscribe to my channel. And as always, if you need further help, you can contact me here. If you need to hire someone to build a custom database application for you or help with formulas, those sorts of things, that's what we're here for. You can find us at our website, huxl.com. Thank you.